Heading into the last match day of the league phase on January 28th, all 18 games had vital points at stake, whether that was trying to clinch first place or just trying to avoid elimination. What followed then was a European night that more than lived up to its billing as match day mayhem. All right, so you can see here then the standings were in constant flux on that last day of play. This is going to show you all 36 teams and how their positions kind of moved around throughout the course of all the 90 minutes of all the match day 8 games. Pay particular attention to that dotted line that you can hopefully see between places 24 and 25. That represents the cutoff for the knockout playoffs. And you can see movement up and down and in and out of the playoffs until right at the final whistle when Benfica scored another goal, and goal difference meant that they knocked Marseille out of the playoffs. What that did was bring us to today and the first leg of those knockout playoffs. This is how the brackets line up for this. Jamie, when we first saw who Liverpool would face or potentially face as the brackets progress, you weren't particularly happy. Do you still feel that now when you kind of see the bigger picture and compare it to other teams?
No, I just mean Liverpool could end up playing Atletico Madrid. They finished third. They played PSG last year. Atletico Madrid a week ago, I think, beat Barcelona 4-0. So that's what they could end up getting. But who else could they get then? Chelsea or Barcelona?
But look at the games that we could have though in a round of 16. We've got Man City, Real Madrid, PSG, Barcelona.
Why?
It could be unbelievable. You're always talking...
I want all the games to be amazing and great. I just want Liverpool to have easy ones.
Man City and Real Madrid every single season.
I know. And they always get the better of you.
Do they?
No, they do more often than not.
Well, we'll see.
He had no reply, did he?
No, we have to move on.
Well, Lisbon is, of course, famous for its old world charm, distinct architecture, food, music as well, and, of course, Benfica. The Eagles are the most widely followed team in Portugal. Tonight, the Estádio da Luz, the Stadium of Light, will be electric for another visit by Real Madrid. We're going to talk about the rematch in just a second. Stay with us. OK, let's take you back then to the game between Real Madrid and Benfica being played in Lisbon. Guillem Balaguer is over there. We haven't spoken to him yet. Good to see you, Guillem.
Yeah.
Talk to us about Lisbon, the city. What's it been like in the build-up to this game?
It's a city of football. Did you see the tears of José Mourinho? It meant to him so much because he did it against his beloved Real Madrid, because he did it against his pupil, Arbeloa, but also because he did it at the Estádio da Luz and at Benfica. Benfica is the club that he supported as a kid. He probably does still. And this is not just any club. This is one of the biggest clubs in the world, certainly the biggest in Portugal, but the exodus of Portuguese all over the globe have meant that they're taking the love of Benfica away. Biggest stadium in Portugal, and it's the team that's won more leagues. Plus, they won the Europa League as well. And the last time they did it, in 1962, a curse started against them. Bela Goodman, the manager that's taken them to beat Barcelona and Real Madrid in the former Champions League final, didn't get the wages that he wanted. So he said, you're not going to win anything for 100 years. Guess what? 8 finals, European finals, and none won. José Mourinho doesn't intend really to win the Champions League, but wants to give a special night to the Estádio da Luz, which is also known as the Inferno da Luz, hell. That's what he would try to transform it. It's been a fortress for him since he arrived, only one defeat. The team is the same as he played against Real Madrid, apart from Rafa Silva, unpredictable player has returned to Benfica. But I think the approach will be different to that crazy game 20 days ago. For Real Madrid, Arbeloa, 5 wins in 5 in the league. Seems to have got it right. The players are following him because the players are doing what they like. Defending deep and counter-attack. Mbappé returns to the side, even though the club says we have to look after his left knee. This is the place, Estádio da Luz, that Real Madrid started an era of success, won the Champions League, and then won it 5 more times in 8 years. Courtois was in goal for Atletico Madrid that night. He was in goal 20 days ago, but he doesn't expect hell today. Great game ahead for us.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. Thank you, Guillem. Good to see you. I miss Guillem. Haven't seen him in a minute.
Looking fly, looking
good to see him.
Looking well.
Benfica, if you remember, they lost their 4 opening games in the Champions League phase, but then they got those couple of big wins against Napoli, against Real Madrid. Against Real Madrid? Yes. Sorry.
Yeah.
Do you think that obviously gives them good momentum, right? But does it kind of help them coming into tonight, or do you start afresh? It's a knockout game.
It's going to be different. They had to win. Real Madrid went about it a different way. When you look at the starting lineup of Real Madrid, you know that they're not going to play the same way. They played a certain way that Benfica took advantage of. Nevertheless, they deserve to win, Benfica, on the night. But if you go back to the start of Benfica, apart from Carabao, that they lost around 3-2, I think, in the first game, the games were tough. All of the games were tough. Chelsea away, they played Napoli, they played Real Madrid. I forgot some teams that they played. They had to win at Ajax, if I remember well, or something like that. It wasn't easy, and somehow Mourinho managed to turn that around. He still didn't do it yet in the league because they were a bit further in the league, and sometimes it's more difficult than to do it on one night or a home and away game in a cup. But he has done well since he has arrived there. So I won't be surprised if they can disturb Real Madrid tonight. It's a different game, as we all know. It's not a league game that they had to win. They need to be careful that they don't also Madrid don't kill the tie now, and then you have to go back there. But then also, if you don't do what you need to do here to go back there, you need to also go forward with it. But it will be a different approach from Benfica. I can see how it can be difficult for Madrid tonight.
If we talk about Real Madrid and their kind of journey through the league phase, they look like they were nailed on to make their way through to the playoffs and the knockout stages directly in that top 8. They were up there nearly the entire league phase and then just crash out of it with that result against Benfica on match day 8. To now have to replay that team that sent them out of the top 8 and into the playoffs, it makes this an interesting fixture, Jamie.
It does make it interesting, but I think maybe the shock factor of maybe what Benfica did in the last 3 weeks ago, I don't think that helps them now tonight. I think Madrid, got very complacent. We're going to analyse that before the game kicks off again tonight. So I think they'll be well aware of the dangers of this Benfica team. And, there's been a lot of criticism around, I would imagine, in Spain on the back of that defeat. It was a bad defeat. Benfica are not a big European club anymore. They've got a top European manager, and he showed that in the game, how they went about it. But I just cannot see Real Madrid making the same mistakes again.
Can I just ask you a quick one, Jamie, before we go? You played in a low block, and Benfica play like that way. How do you sustain that over 2 legs and not just 1 leg? Because you was a master at it when you was at Liverpool. Well,
you've got to get a good result in the first leg.
Okay.
I mean, that's where it has to come from. What Thierry says, you've got to keep yourself in the tie. But I mean, the teams I played for, when we were at our best, we had a chance of winning the competition. I don't think that's what you could say about Benfica right now. So for them, I think they have to get something in this game, because I don't see them get anything in the Bernabeu. Now and again, if you see 2 top teams against each other, sometimes 0-0 at home is not the worst result in the world. But I do think for Benfica, even if they got a draw tonight, it'd be very difficult for them in the Bernabeu.
Anyway, we're going to take you out to Lisbon, to Guillaume Balaguer, and check in with him again, because one of the storylines back on this Real Madrid-Benfica game being played in Lisbon tonight, one of the storylines that's been kind of dominant leading up to this game, Guillaume, is the fact that there are a lot of rumours coming out of Spain that José Mourinho had a clause in his contract with Benfica that would potentially allow him to go to Real Madrid or to go to the Portuguese national team if he should be approached for those jobs. He's come out and denied that. What was your information on it?
No, actually, he said in the press conference, yes, OK, I've got a clause that says that I can leave Benfica this summer if I want to. I'll give you more detail. He can do it up till 10 days after the end of the season. He can then go to either the national side, which, by the way, if Roberto Martinez and Portugal had not won the Nations League, he may have been already the national coach of Portugal, but there is a possibility he goes there. And Florentino Perez, and I think the chairman of Real Madrid, and José Mourinho himself would like perhaps a second version of what happened a few years back, where Real Madrid actually in the eyes and the words of Florentino Perez started a new era with José Mourinho in charge. It wasn't so much what he wanted, didn't win the Champions League. Semi-finals is the maximum he reached, but actually it was the beginning of an era of success. And repeating that, as I say, is something I think José Mourinho would like.
Oh, thank you very much, Guillaume. Jamie, let me talk to you, because I guess that period, 2004-2007, when José Mourinho was at Chelsea for the first time, there was kind of a really big rivalry, wasn't there, between your team, Liverpool, and Chelsea. Played each other 16 times, I think it was, in that 3-year span. What was your kind of opinion of José Mourinho at the time? How did you feel about playing against his teams, about playing him as a manager?
Well, that Chelsea team dominated, certainly English football for 2 or 3 seasons, but it was definitely not the most difficult team I played against. That would have been Thierry's Arsenal, who were the best team just before Jose came. But even though we were huge rivals, you could not help but have the utmost respect for him as what he was doing as a football manager. He came into English football and just took on the biggest managers in our game, who were Arsene Wenger and Alex Ferguson, and didn't just take them on, beat them sort of quite convincingly at that time. And the reason there was a rivalry between Liverpool and Chelsea, not because we were competing for the league title with them or anything like that, they were a far better team than us, but we had a way of playing against them that proved successful. Whereas I think Thierry's Arsenal and Alex Ferguson's Manchester United were great attacking teams, and they went after, you know, Chelsea and Jose, and that probably suited them. Whereas we were very similar to Jose Mourinho's Chelsea. They were a better version of us, basically. But we seemed to have the upper hand in one of, big games, cup games, shall I say, semi-finals. So we beat them in 3 semi-finals 3 years in a row. So in the Champions League, the FA Cup, and the Champions League in 2007. So it was a great tactical battle between Benitez and Jose.